Thanks for checking out this edition of This Week in the World of Football, coming to you live from the fabulous World of Football Man Cave, located in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. The purpose of this podcast is to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. We hope to educate, inform, and entertain you with the glorious buffet that is the world of football, while also keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. You can find the show after it's aired live on a multitude of podcasting platforms, as well as right here on YouTube along with past shows. If you want to connect with us, just find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Threads. Those links will be down in the episode description. Remember to comment, like, and share this video. If you have thoughts or comments during the show, drop them into the live chat and maybe you'll see your name on screen. If you have questions and they are deemed appropriate, they'll be answered at the end of the broadcast. So without further ado, let's kick off this week's show.
Hello again, everyone. This is episode number 427 for January 6th, 2026, our first show of the new year. I'm your host, Randy Snow. On this week's show, the NFL playoff field is set, the college football playoffs are down to the Final Four, and a whole bunch of NFL coaches got fired. But I'm not here all by myself. Across the internet from me, in another part of Kalamazoo, is my son, Adam.
Hi, Happy New Year 2026, starting the 20th season, or in the middle of the 20th season. I don't know. Your math was weird on this one, but we're celebrating 20 years this year.
Yes, we are.
Happy birthday, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, we've been doing this podcast here for 8.5 years, but the World of Football name and logo goes back 20 years, so it's quite a long time. Lots happened in 20 years.
Yeah, no kidding.
How old were you 20 years ago?
Oh, gee, you're gonna make me do math. I was 20 years ago, so I would have been 16, going on 17. So,
Okay.
yeah, thanks for making me feel old now.
Cool.
How old were you 20 years ago? Huh? I'll throw the question back at you.
I was Nunya, as in Nunya business. All right. Well, not only do we have this weekly podcast, but we also do YouTube videos. We currently have 750 videos on our YouTube channel, with the newest ones being our NFL picks video from last week for week 18 of the season, your episode of Just Lying Around with Kyle, the episode 74, the Lions-Bears game, which I didn't even know you guys were doing. Your mom asked if you were going to do something. I said, well, I haven't heard anything, so I don't know. And all of a sudden I look at my phone and you had already finished recording. So I didn't catch it live. I caught it right after you got done.
Yeah. You usually sneak into those live chats when we do those.
Yeah, I try.
We knocked it out. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. We also did a history lesson last week, or we posted a history lesson all about us, the world of football, and how we came to be and what's happened over the last 20 years. Not real in depth, because there's so much there. It could have been an hour-long special, but we just wrapped it up in 10 minutes or so. And
so you're saying we could do a live stream where we just talk about the history of this whole thing and ask people what they want to know about the world of football. A little world of football Q&A, Randy. Let's just throw that out there for if anybody wants that, put that in the chat or in the comments. WOF Q&A.
Forget I said anything about that.
The people
you
will
also
speak, Randy.
you also posted a video that you made on your own called "It's Time to Kill the Pro Bowl Games."
Yep.
That was pretty interesting. A lot of cool stuff that you put in there. A lot of videos of the game many years ago. Barry Sanders running in the Pro Bowl and some other players, and gosh, that was so much fun. It upsets me that they got away from that. It really does. Like you said, I really enjoyed watching the Pro Bowl every year to see, how many Lions players are on the team. Who else is out? Oh my God, that quarterback from this team is throwing to their hated rivals, wide receiver.
Right.
That was so much fun over the years, and it's spun down the toilet.
You can call it what it is, Randy. It's dog water. That's what it is. It's absolute dog water now.
I have not even watched any of it in the last couple of years.
Sea Dog saying that your World
Mind
of
your
Football
business,
Q&A
Sea Dog.
video would be
Mind your
cool.
business, Sea Dog.
But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, the Pro Bowl thing, that's one I've been sitting on for about a year. I
Yeah.
finally got the time this weekend. I was like, I'm gonna finally do this video, and yeah, so that's how I feel. NFL Olympics, give me a nice competition, a little more competition than a crappy game.
Yeah, you better trademark that right away. All right, we also have some upcoming videos we're going to be doing. We'll have episode 428 next week of this show. We're going to do our NFL picks video tomorrow with Aaron. That'll be our wild card round of predictions. One guy's already sent his predictions in.
Oh.
Leonard, of course, has already sent his picks.
I forgot to put up a post about it, but I mean, the video's already up if people want to go and just start dropping their things in the chat there. So maybe I'll make a separate post still. I just haven't. Sorry, I was busy. I could probably do it right now while we're talking.
And then at the end of your just lying around, Kyle was saying this was going to be our last show for a while, and you said, wait a minute, what about our awards show? So I guess you and Kyle are going to do some sort of a Lions Awards show for the last season.
Yeah, we're going to do like a Lions Awards. Yeah, we did it last year at the end of the season after everything kind of wrapped up. So I feel like we're just going to do the same thing. We got a handful of awards. We already texted about it. So we're going to tweak a couple things. But yeah, the idea will be to have the Lions Awards, like best offensive player, defensive player, rookie of the year kind of thing, all that stuff. So be on the lookout for that. I don't know when we're going to get around to it. We might just do it randomly one night, or we'll let everybody know ahead of time. Hard to say. So
okay.
I kind of fly by the seat of Kyle's pants usually. So
it's a dangerous
that's how it
way to
goes.
fly. All right. Let's begin our weekly tour around the world of football, and we're going to start off this week with the NFL. So take it away, Adam.
That's right, guys. Week 18 of the NFL season has come and gone. Regular season over, but we got to go back and hit the highlights. And first off, as we always do here when we talk NFL on this channel, or at least on this podcast, we go through the scores. And a lot of meaningless games this week, but a few games were very important and very intriguing, and we're going to tackle everything in between. Starting with that game on Saturday, a rainy affair in Tampa where the Panthers fell to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 14-6. This was important because, these two teams are still fighting for that last wild cards, or not the wild card. They were the last division spot.
Oh, yeah, division card,
Yep. If the Panthers would have won, they would have locked it up all good. But since they lost, Tampa Bay won this game, and both teams were 8-9 after that game finished up. And both teams were rooting for their division rivals, the Saints and the Falcons, in their game the next day, because that would determine who would go be the division champion. And one of the best memes I saw all weekend was the Plankton and Mr. Krabs from SpongeBob egging on Patrick and SpongeBob to get in a fight because they didn't want to fight themselves. They're just going to have these two idiots fight. And that's essentially what the Panthers and Buccaneers did. They needed these two idiot teams to fight, and the winner would decide who won the division. So absolutely wild, absolutely silly. And we'll touch on that one in just a moment. Another game of consequence over the weekend, the Seattle Seahawks defeated the San Francisco 49ers 13-3. This gave the Seahawks the NFC West crown and the number one overall seed in the NFC side of the playoffs. We'll look at the bracket and everything after we've gotten through all the games. And we know there's a lot of other news in between. We'll hit all that up, all the other big stuff at the end of the scores. We're going to fly through these scores today. So Seattle beat up on San Francisco. Then we move on to that game we were kind of talking about a second ago. The Atlanta Falcons beat the New Orleans Saints 19-17. The Panthers needed the Falcons to win. The Buccaneers were rooting for the Saints to win. And it was the Falcons that came out on top, 19-17. New Orleans made it a game at the end. I don't know if you caught that one. I caught the tail end of it before the Lions game. And guy for New Orleans had a great one-handed grab in the end zone. It's a top 10 play of the year. It was great. It was a lot of fun. They tried, to get the onside kick to try to get a win there, but they couldn't get it. Atlanta gets it, kneels it out. So Falcons take that one and give the NFC South crown to the Carolina Panthers. And I'll just take a brief break, Dad, to ask you a quick question. I think we've tackled this on the show, and I'm curious what other people think in the chat. the Carolina Panthers, because they are then division champions, 8 and 9, get a first round home game. How do we feel about that? A sub 500 team getting a home game. And we talk about it every year, I feel like.
Yeah. In the past, I've always said that, if you're a division champion, you deserve to have a home game. And so even if you got a losing record, you should still have a home game. But now I'm kind of thinking, well, maybe not. So I'm kind of slowly starting to think the other way, that maybe if you don't have, a record better than the second place team in the conference, that maybe they deserve a home game and you don't, because you barely snuck in by the skin of your teeth with the losing record, but now you're going to host a game. I'm not sure about that.
Yep. C-Dog in the chat agrees. He doesn't think they should get a home game. Dale in the chat, I don't like that at all. If you don't have a winning record, you must finish the 7th seed. I kind of agree. I think it should be your record should get you your seed, but I think getting a division crown bumps other people out, because Lions, Vikings finished with a better record than the Panthers, but they aren't in the playoffs. So I think if that's the case, your division crown gives you a stamp into the playoffs, but then you are seeded according to your record after that. I think if you have a crappy division like the South was this year, you got to give them a winner, and then that winner gets an auto bid into the playoffs. It is what it is, and I'll live with that. While the Lions are sitting here not in the playoffs, Lions could have done what they needed to do to get in, and they didn't. So I'm not going to hold that against the Panthers. The Panthers did what they needed to do to win their crappy division, and they're in. I just don't think they should get a home game if their record is no better than the bottom half of the conference. So it is what it is. Dale also says, I think they should go to a conference format and get rid of the divisions. I don't like the divisions. Ooh, Dale. And C-Dog says, I don't know if C-Dog agrees with Dale or if he agrees with my thing, but I get to a point, I get to an extent about the conference instead of the divisions. I want to see it more like the NBA, where look, the NBA's got division winners, but they seed everybody in that conference appropriately. So, but a lot of times, they play a lot more games, so it might be a little harder. And I love seeing this comment. I agree with you, Adam. Thank you, C-Dog. But yeah, so I do think you get your division, you get in the playoffs, but it doesn't guarantee you a home game. It just depends on the seeding after that. Because then, if it was the case last year, remember Minnesota had a very good record and they had to play a road game, despite having only 3 losses on the year. If they would have seeded things differently, they would have been the 2 or 3 seed, I think, and could have hosted a home game despite not winning their division, which I think is what should happen. You had a good enough record. You fought all year. You deserve it come playoff time. Division just gets you a spot in the dance. Doesn't get you the best seat in the house. Yeah. All right. Enough of that tangent. Let's go down through some of these games. The Cleveland Browns defeated the Cincinnati Bengals 20-18. I guess, Dad, do you want to hit in this one the record that was broken by one Myles Garrett?
Yeah. He let me scroll down here where I had that note. Let's see. 23 sacks now on the season, which is a new NFL record. The previous record was 22.5, so he beat it by a half a sack. And I know some years ago they recalculated some things, and I thought that Al Bubba Baker actually held the record. And I don't know if that was 23 or 22 sacks that he had, but because the first couple of years he was playing, they were not counting those, and they went back and they saw that he actually had more sacks. So I'm not sure where Bubba Baker fits on that list now, because when I looked at the list of the top, several guys on that list, I didn't see his name on there. So I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know he passed TJ Watt and Michael Strahan, who had tied at 20. What'd you say? It was 22.5?
22.5 was the previous record.
Okay, yeah. So past them, and yeah. So congratulations to him. It's a heck of a feat. This dude's an absolute monster. I wish he'd come to Detroit, but probably ain't gonna happen. Yeah. All right. We'll go back to the scores then. Moving on to the next game. Let's see here. The Indianapolis Colts fell to the Houston Texans 38-30 in that game. Let's see. The Jacksonville Jaguars blew up the Tennessee Titans 41-7. Let's see. The Minnesota Vikings took care of the Green Bay Packers 16-3. New York Giants beat the Cowboys 34-17. As you can tell, I didn't watch a lot of these games.
No, I didn't either. But going back to that Green Bay loss, that was one of the things that Detroit needed was for Green Bay to lose their last 2 games, and they did. Detroit did not win their last 2 games, so Green Bay is in. But it was there for Detroit to take.
Yeah, it was, and that's why I said Detroit shot themselves in the foot. They bungled their own opportunity, and the fact that I know a lot of people are mad that they chose to play a very good game or a better game Sunday than they did the last 2 weeks. So, look, it is what it is. The Lions need a lot of work. I'm not even gonna cry over it. It's what it is.
Yeah.
Let's see, but you can cry if you're a Jets fan. I think you're legally allowed to at this point, as the Buffalo Bills, in those nice red helmets. By the way, I loved the red helmets coming back in the final game. No, you don't like those?
No, I prefer the white helmets. When they went back to the white helmets, I thought that is a great look. And go back to the red ones. No, the red ones don't do anything for me.
Oh, I don't know. The red helmet with that blue uniform, it worked for me in the final game at Highmark Stadium. I thought it looked great. Anyway, they beat up on the Jets 35-8. I think Josh Allen even only played a little bit, sat out the rest of the game. But the Jets did something historic, Randy, something that I never thought would ever be done. And I don't have the image here like I thought I would, so we'll just talk about it. The Jets recorded 0 interceptions for the entire duration of a 17-game schedule.
When I first saw this, I just saw the graphic and it said, no interceptions, and it goes back for the first time since 1933, I guess. And I took that to mean that they did not throw an interception. And then I realized, oh no, that's not right. It's that they didn't have an interception. They didn't intercept an opposing team's pass all season long. That makes it a lot worse. And I thought, well, if it went the other way, I thought, well, there's a little something they can hang their hat on this season that they didn't throw any interceptions, but that wasn't the case.
That'd be really impressive. I think a lot of people would be talking about that if it was the other way around. But the fact that they couldn't intercept a pass is not good, especially for a guy like Aaron Glenn who prides himself on defense. And yikes.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help that they traded away their best corner in the middle of the year. So, but hey, that is what it is. Back to the red helmets real quick. Dale says he loves the red helmets. He was watching Red Zone and they almost had one, but it slipped out of his head. That's true. I think the backup quarterback for the Bills, his first pass after filling in for Josh Allen when they pulled Josh Allen was almost intercepted. It was like almost poetic, but didn't happen. I want to say, it was Mitch Trubisky. That's the backup quarterback there in Buffalo. So that's how that went. And sorry, Jets. All right. The Lions beat the Chicago Bears 19-16. I talked at nauseum about this one with Kyle the other day, so I'll let you, Dad, talk about this one.
Well, they jumped out to a 16-0 lead at the end of 3 quarters, and I thought, oh man, they're gonna cruise to this, and then a thought did flip through my mind. Oh man, what if they score 16 unanswered points? And that's exactly what they did. And it took a Jake Bates field goal as time expired to win that game. It was so back and forth those last few minutes. I was getting more angry because I thought, oh great, we're gonna beat the stinking Bears, and then I got upset because they looked like they were going to lose or it was going to go into overtime. And so I was just so relieved when Bates kicked that field goal. So it was a good feeling to beat the Bears this year. Beat them twice now this year.
Yes, they did. But again, just not enough at the end of the year. But
and it was nice that Detroit ended up with a winning record. So they've had a winning record 4 years in a row now. And that's a good thing.
That's the longest streak since the 60s?
The 1950s, back when they were winning NFL championships. Yep.
What was it? I thought I saw 60-something to 70 was the last time they had winning seasons consecutively. 4 years, but there's a lot of graphics floating around out there. I want to say it was 60s into the 70s at one point, but regardless, in my lifetime, that's the first time that's happened. 4 straight winning seasons. I've never seen that before, so I'm not going to sit here and cry too much about it. I think the Lions can load up and they'll be fine next year. Me and the little guy, oh, there he is. Me and the little guy are gonna be watching a lot of games together now. So,
and a lot of Barry Sanders highlights.
A lot of Jahmyr Gibbs highlights for this young man. Anyway, let's see. Any other thoughts on the Lions before we cruise on?
No, not right now.
All right. The Denver Broncos secured the number 1 seed in the AFC West. They beat the Chargers, or in the AFC as a whole, actually, not just the West. They won the division too, but they beat the Chargers 19-3. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Cardinals 37-20. The Raiders beat the Chiefs 14-12. Patriots handled the Dolphins 38-10. The Commanders got a surprise win over the Eagles 24-17. And in probably the game of the week, the Pittsburgh Steelers narrowly defeat the Baltimore Ravens 26-24 to clinch that final playoff spot in the AFC. Everything was locked in. This was I love the scheduling at the end of the year sometimes. They got this right. They put this game in the national spotlight and it delivered. Pittsburgh, I wasn't sure if they were going to hold on. I went to bed at halftime thinking, oh, the Ravens got this. Not so fast, my friend, because that poor kicker for Baltimore missing that field goal with time expiring to send the Steelers to the playoffs and not the Ravens was something else.
I watched the whole end of that game. It was so back and forth the last couple minutes. Oh, yeah. And I was so happy that they at least had a chance to win it on a final, last second field goal. Because man, even they were showing Rodgers on the sideline, and even he looked like, well, we're out of here. Yeah, they're going to kick this. We're not going anywhere. And when he missed it, it's just like, oh yeah, we knew we were going to win. We're good. We're a good team. And oh God, I was so upset.
God, I hate Aaron Rodgers. I hate the fact he's in the playoffs again.
Yeah,
God,
I went to bed mad that night.
Yeah, but yeah. So I showed my wife the highlight of the kicker at the end, and she felt so bad for him because like as soon as he missed it, he was distraught and. Yeah. I will say this. Look, there's people out there who have sent him like really mean messages on like his Instagram. Like, don't do that. Don't be those kind of fans. We here at the World of Football do not condone that unless you're going to go egg Aaron Rodgers' house. We don't condone any of that crap. Like, come on. It's a game. It's not life and death. Like,
those were probably people that had money bet on the game.
Okay, hold on. For the whole week, there was a lot of that this week. Like the Packers kicking that field goal at the end of that game to cover the spread. Like, is the fix in, Randy? Is it rigged?
Absolutely. I said when they started legalizing gambling, nothing good was going to come out of this, and it hasn't. Other than the NFL is making a buttload of money from partnering with these gambling online websites or whatever.
Yeah. From the Facebook stream, thanks, Brian. My Texans will make him wish the kicker would have made it. I hope so. I hope that Texans defense goes in and wrecks Aaron Rodgers. But did you see that there was a priest that put holy water in that end zone? Oh my gosh.
I did.
What in the world? Wild.
Well, I was thinking about this when I was making my picks for next week. You have two teams in the playoffs this year that have both never been to a Super Bowl in the Texans and the Jaguars. So one of them might make it to the Super Bowl this year. One of them, only four teams that have never been there. The other two being Cleveland and Detroit.
Right. I don't know. I'm going to save our picks for our picks, but this has got to be the playoffs that Josh Allen does it, right? He doesn't have a Patrick Mahomes. He doesn't have a Lamar Jackson standing in his way. If Josh Allen can't get it done now, can he get it done?
I don't know. The Jaguars are playing pretty good right now, and they are at home, so we shall see.
We shall see. All right, that's it for the scores. I did use the scoreboard graphic for a little bit, but that's done. The scoreboard's done.
Okay.
Talk about some news stories. What else do we have, Randy? There's a lot to happen at the end of the year.
The game in Buffalo was supposedly the last game at the Bills Highmark Stadium before they open their new stadium next year.
The last regular season game.
Yes, there is a possibility that they could host the NFC Championship game there. So they might have one more game. AFC. But I had forgotten that this was their last season. I thought they were going to have one more season before they open the new stadium because, when you look at the construction, they show pictures every now and then. Oh, here's an update to a new stadium without a roof on it in that area. They should have a roof on that stadium. And it just doesn't look like it would be ready in time for next year, but I guess it is, or supposedly it is. Let's see cool. some other news. The Jaguars, of course, win the AFC South. The Panthers win the NFC South. Bucks were eliminated. Denver and Philadelphia both wore throwback uniforms, and they had their end zones painted up with throwback logos. I thought those were great. Pretty cool. Yes, those were great looks for both of those teams, and I really enjoyed. I think the Jets also were wearing throwback.
Yeah, they were. They're great.
But they were on the road, so But yeah, Denver and Philly looked great, especially Denver. I love that old look. For years, I never understood how you could have a blue helmet with an orange jersey, but when they bring it back, I'm always like, that is so cool. That's a good look. So I
It
like
is.
it now. And then the big news over the weekend is that every few hours I kept getting an alert on my phone that another NFL coach had been fired.
Yeah.
I think it
Black
started out
Monday
with
yesterday.
yeah, it started out with the Falcons firing Raheem Morris and their general manager Terry Fontenot after they won their game, after they beat the the Saints. Morris had a 16-18 record in just 2 seasons there, and uh, the GM Fontenot had been there for 5 years, and he was on a 6-year contract, so they fired him with a year to go on his contract. And then the Browns fired Kevin Stefanski after 6 seasons there. I don't know, that could have come a couple years ago, I think, but who knows? The Raiders, this was a surprise. Raiders fired Pete Carroll after just 1 season there, leading them to a 3-14 record and the number 1 draft pick. So he's out. And the Cardinals fired head coach Jonathan Gannon after 3 seasons. He posted a record of 15-36 for his record out there. Any thoughts on these coaches from you?
I'm a little surprised at Stefanski. You know, Stefanski was a 2-time Coach of the Year winner. I think he could have gotten things fixed. I mean, unfortunately, it just took too long. I don't know. He would have been the one I probably would have kept around for 1 more year. But when you're the Browns, you got to shake it up a little bit. I don't know. That's a dysfunctional organization still.
Yeah, they
the
got
other ones. I mean,
they've got more problems in Cleveland than just a head coach.
Yeah, it goes all the way up to the ownership. As long as that guy's still making a lot of the decisions, it probably doesn't matter who the head coach is. They could bring in, I don't know, they could bring in some real whiz kid and probably still won't amount to much. But I don't know. The other ones, Pete Carroll surprised me a little bit, one and done. But that's the Raiders. Like they have hired and fired new coaches every year for the last 3 or 4 years, ever since Gruden left. It's been wild. And the Raiders are another dysfunctional organization. That's why when we talk about the draft order, they're picking where they're picking. So,
yep. Let's see. There's actually 6 head coaching vacancies. The Titans and the Giants are also looking for a head coach this season. So,
because they fired their coaches mid-season.
Right. We have to keep our, in the next week, half of those or more could be filled by next week. So we'll see.
And
what
who knows?
happens.
But maybe even be another surprise fire. I'm sure teams are evaluating and going through the stuff. I mean, I know a lot of the coordinators now, like Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator for the Commanders, has parted ways with the team. Some other, I think Eberflus, the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, got let go. So there's a lot of other coaches and things opening up. So the dominoes are starting to fall. We'll have to wait and see what hot candidates come from the playoff teams here in a couple weeks. So who knows? It's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah. Let's see. Ravens running back Derrick Henry recorded his 5th career season with at least 1,500 rushing yards, and he ties our own Barry Sanders for the most yards, 1,500 yard seasons. I don't remember if Barry were those all consecutive for Barry, 1,500, 5 straight. I can't remember.
I don't know.
But anyway,
I could look it up.
Yeah, well, that's okay. But anyway, he ties Barry Sanders with 5 seasons with 1,500 career rushing yards. Let's see. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams surpasses one of my favorite quarterbacks in Detroit, Eric Kramer, who had a career high of 3,838 yards with the Bears for the Bears' single season franchise record, passing record. The Bears have never had a 4,000 yard passer in franchise history. And that's unusual with some of the great quarterbacks they've had over the years. Sid Luckman comes to mind, but that was, back in the 50s. So
you also think for a franchise that's been around for 100 years and for as prevalent as offense has become, that hasn't happened yet. But I will ask, do you think it's even a lot of people get up in arms about it, and make fun of Bears for being the only team without a 4,000 yard passer? Like, do you think it's that big of a deal? Do you think it's, or just some, like Ben Johnson said during one of his press conferences, it's just a number. Like it's an arbitrary number. Look where the Bears are. They're in the playoffs. How about the teams that had 4,000 yard passes this year, like the Lions? Where are they sitting? They're not in the playoffs. Right. So, like, does it really matter at the end of the day? Or is it just a fun, goofy stat that you can make fun of Bears fans at the
It's a
end of the
fun, goofy stat to make fun of the Bears, and I'll do that any chance I get. Okay,
Fair enough.
or the Packers. And we already talked about Myles Garrett also. So that's basically all the notes I had from this past weekend.
Oh, okay. And then we just had previewing the playoff matchups, or just this is what your playoff bracket looks like as of right. Well, as we go into the postseason this weekend, I think things start off with the Rams and Panthers right on Saturday.
The way I've got it here, it's the Packers against the Bears. I'm not sure which order these come in. I just wrote down the matchups. Packers versus Bears, 49ers at the Eagles, Rams at the Panthers, and the Seahawks on a bye. Then in the AFC, it's the Chargers at the Patriots, Bills at Jaguars, Texans at Steelers, with the Broncos on a bye.
Yeah, I want to say that it does start off with Rams, Panthers on Saturday, with Packers, Bears following that. And then it kind of goes back and forth. Culminating Monday night will be Steelers and Texans. So good spread of games. And if you were to sit down and watch one of these playoff games, Randy, which is the one you're circling and which is the one you're sitting down to actually watch?
Probably the Packers and the Bears. This is the time of the year when, everybody knows that I root for the Lions and I hate the other 31 teams, top to bottom. And so this is the time of the year when I'm watching these games to root against somebody. I'm watching a game because I want to see a particular team lose. Now, when it comes to the Bears and the Packers this coming weekend, I want them both to lose. But whoever loses this week, they better turn around and lose the next week so we can get these two guys out of the playoffs. That's all I got to say.
Right on. Like I'm when it comes to this and the Lions aren't in the playoffs, I'm rooting for stories. And what's the better story? Like I said, Josh Allen, this is his chance. That's one story I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the Josh Allen story. I'm rooting for the Matthew Stafford getting another Super Bowl story. Yeah, I'm rooting for the Jags or the Texans to get to their first Super Bowl. There's a lot I can root for. Just give me something different. And I'm rooting for the Bears and Packers to somehow be the first teams ever to both lose in the same playoff game. I don't think it'll happen, but a boy can dream.
Yeah, I'm rooting against the Steelers. Let's see, who else am I rooting
against?
Yeah,
and Aaron Rodgers get embarrassed.
I'm kind of rooting against the Eagles. I don't want to see them back in the Super Bowl again. Kind of rooting against the Patriots. I've never cared for the Patriots, even though Tom Brady's not there. I just don't care for him.
Roy says he agrees with you, Randy. Packers and Bears are the two teams I want out of the playoffs ASAP. And Dale says here, I have a question for you guys. Is it fair that it's called Wild Card Weekend or Super Wild Card Weekend if a game is played on Monday? Just a funny question. I remember it was Super Wild Card Weekend that first year they expanded it.
Yeah, they threw that name in there, and they realized how stupid that was.
I think it was fun for 1 year because it was the first year they did it. Now that it's normal, they don't need the super in front of it.
Right.
You say that for the Super Bowl. That's why it's called the Super Bowl. So
that's right.
But I think all these matchups are great and interesting in their own ways. Can the Panthers pull a miracle run? That's my question now too. They beat the Rams in the regular season. So It's been a topsy-turvy year. Will the playoffs be equally as topsy-turvy? Let's sit back and just watch.
Yeah. One quick note about the NFL draft coming up. We now know the draft order for the first 18 teams. Detroit is going to be picking at 17. But I think what's interesting is the Raiders at number 1, the Jets at number 2, Cardinals at number 3, and the Titans at number 4. All 4 of those teams have the same record, 3-14. I wonder how deep they had to go to the tiebreakers to determine that of those 4 crappy teams, you were the crappiest of the 4 and you get the number 1 pick.
It was probably the fact that Tom Brady said, please, Mr. Goodell, let my team be the worst team so I can have the highest pick.
I hadn't thought about that, but you're probably right.
Yep, Tom Brady, and they're meddling with the draft order because of his Raiders ownership.
Yeah, he'll make the first pick. He'll be the one to make that selection.
Ugh, God, don't even start.
Maybe he'll even walk up there behind Roger Goodell, push him out of the way, and says, "With the first overall pick, I select."
Stop it. Every time Tom Brady's on the screen during a game, my wife I hate his face. I just hate his face so much. Now he's got a Pizza Hut commercial that I have to watch 8 times during a game too. I was tired of that one. God, tired of Tom Brady.
Okay, I think we're done talking about the NFL, unless you got anything else you want to bring up.
Nope, I think I'm good.
All right. Well, let's get to some college bowl games, and there was a plethora of college bowl games last week. I actually missed 2 games last week from my list.
Oh, for shame.
Yeah, so I missed the Gator Bowl, and both these games were on the 27th, by the way. I missed the Gator Bowl, which saw Virginia defeat Missouri 13-7, and I missed the Texas Bowl, where Houston defeated LSU 38-35. So now we go to this week's slate of games. You had the Independence Bowl, Louisiana Tech over Coastal Carolina 23-14. You had the Music City Bowl, Illinois over Tennessee 30-28. In the Alamo Bowl, it was TCU upsetting number 16 USC by the score of 30-27. In the ReliaQuest Bowl, number 23 Iowa State over Vanderbilt, number 14 team, 34-27. I just had verses. I think Iowa won that game. I don't remember. I didn't put the over instead of versus. Anyway, in the Sun Bowl, it was Duke over Arizona State 42-39. Citrus Bowl, Texas over Michigan 41-27. Las Vegas Bowl, Utah over Nebraska 44-22. Armed Forces Bowl, Texas State over Rice 41-10. The Liberty Bowl, Navy over Cincinnati 35-13. Navy wore those same helmets that they wore during the Army-Navy game, and those were really cool helmets. Did you see any of that? Any pictures from that game?
I don't think I did.
Yeah, but they wore the same helmets from the Army-Navy game, and so they got 2 games out of those helmets. That was pretty cool. Let's see.
One of my top 10 helmets of the last year, Randy. Have you know?
Yeah, I saw that
post about that. Yeah.
The Holiday Bowl, it was SMU over Arizona 24-19, and in the final real bowl game, Duke's Mayo Bowl, Wake Forest over Mississippi State 34-29. So now we're going to turn our attention to the college football playoffs, and it started on New Year's Eve in the Cotton Bowl. Number 10 Miami of Florida upset number 2 Ohio State 24-10. That made me quite happy. Yeah. Let's see. And 3 other bowl games on New Year's Day. The Orange Bowl, number 5 Oregon upset and shutout number 4 Texas Tech 23-0. In the Rose Bowl, number 1 Indiana over number 9 Alabama 38-3. Man, Indiana was all over them. And Indiana is
lacking, if you will. My goodness.
Yep. Indiana becomes the first team to win after a bye over the last 2 years. Remember how last year the top 4 teams that all had byes, they all lost. This year, 3 out of the 4 lost after a bye. So Indiana's the only one, because in the Sugar Bowl later that night, New Year's Day, number 6 Ole Miss upset number 3 Georgia 39-34. And I was watching this Rose Bowl game. Of course, we have a bit of a vested interest in Indiana, and your mom and I kept losing our satellite signal. And it happened, every once in a while you lose it. You have to pull the plug, reset the whole satellite thing, and get it back. And it happened like 3 different times within a half an hour. And I thought, what the heck's going on? And I thought, oh, maybe there's snow on the satellite dish. And so I went outside and I looked, and there was a little bit of snow, but I didn't think it would bother. But I figured, well, I'm already out here. So I grabbed a ladder and I climb up there and I get the brush from the back of the car and I'm brushing off the satellite dish, worrying about, I'm kind of close to that electric line, and if I fall, I could fall on the propane tank. And but I got up there, brushed it off, came back down, never had any more problems the rest of the night. I don't know if that's what it was or not, but it was a little cloudy, but normally we don't lose our signal like that. But I wanted to watch that Rose Bowl.
Stream the game like a normal person, not using satellite.
I'm sorry. I was watching it on satellite, and it was great.
But this is interesting, like the fact that 2 years in a row now with this new format, the top seeds have just not showed up.
Yeah.
Other than Indiana, obviously, putting belt to booty on Alabama. But
right.
I think that means next year we're seeing a change. I've been saying, like, the reseeding aspect needs to happen. I think maybe they even need to do away with the buys now, because it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, this is 2 years in a row now that the quote unquote best teams in the country are getting taken out in their first game back after probably extra bye week. I think the Oregon head coach, I saw him say something that makes me think that's how you solve this problem. And that's get rid of the conference championships, just go straight into a playoff and play on Saturdays. Tell the NFL go screw themselves. Saturdays is for college football. We're getting the playoffs done. He's like, the championship game should have been this past weekend. We should already be done with our national championship game and then get moved on to recruiting. I think that's one of the best things I've heard a college coach come out and say. And that was the Oregon Ducks coach.
Yeah.
And I agree. I think they just need to do away with it. And even if there's a bye in there, maybe you just got to condense everything. Make week 0 a week 1 and give some of these games a week earlier and you can get the season done. That might be an element of it, but I do think that they need to just get rid of the byes and just play every week. And if the top teams then fall, so be it.
I agree with that. And this year, the transfer portal opened up on January 2nd. So that's running through the 2nd through the 16th. So there's already, the teams are still playing and the transfer portal is already open. And there's over 3,000. I saw a stat. I posted it on one of our, it was either Facebook or Twitter or X, that like 3,800 players are in the transfer portal already. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Yep.
Sea-Dog saying, the teams who get a bye have about a 25-day bye. That's crazy to me. While the other team has been all right, they're warmed up, they played a game under their belts, and they're ready to go.
Right. Yep.
So, so I know we have so I was gonna share pictures of our cousin or my cousin, your niece, at the Rose Bowl. She gave me permission to, but I just didn't. But I know we're rooting for Indiana the rest of the way. Can I also say, and I'm sorry to the family in Indiana, but I'm kind of rooting for Ole Miss now because Lane Kiffin said, "To heck with you guys, I'm jumping to LSU," and now Ole Miss is 2 games away from a national championship. Now, if they end up getting a national championship and this dude jumped ship to go to a different program, I can't wait to laugh at Lane Kiffin and hope he does not succeed at LSU. That's the other story I want. I want Indiana and Ole Miss to be one of the 2 teams to win the national championship.
Nope, I am rooting for Indiana the whole way. So,
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's Indiana, then it's Ole Miss. But again, I'm a sucker for stories. Come on, Indiana.
Yeah. We do have a couple other scores to talk about. There was the oh, wait a minute here. Oh, I already did that. Yeah, the Fiesta Bowl. No, okay. Let's see. Where am I? Okay, the Division III championship game, the 52nd annual Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl was also played. This was played on Sunday. I caught a little bit of this late in the day, when I can't remember what time that game started, but I think it was in the evening. But University of Wisconsin River Falls defeated North Central of Illinois 24-14 at Tom Benson Stadium, Hall of Fame Stadium in Canton, Ohio. This is the first national championship for River Falls. I caught some of that game. It was kind of fun, seeing those Pro Football Hall of Fame end zones, and knowing that they were in Canton, cold, snowy, bits of snow on the field at times. It was kind of cool watching that. And that was Sunday night. And then last night, Monday night, it was the FCS championship game. Number 2 Montana State over unranked Illinois State, 35-34 in overtime. And this was the first FCS title for Montana State in 41 years, dating back to 1984. Now, you said earlier that you didn't see this game or haven't seen any of the highlights.
Right. Yeah, I didn't see it. I just knew it happened on Sunday. I was watching the other football games. I saw on X that this game was happening.
Right. I posted a very good video on either X or Facebook that talks about the final minutes. And at the end of regulation, it was tied 28-28. Illinois State had a chance to kick a field goal to win the game with about a minute left to play, and that field goal got blocked. So the game goes into
the Monday night game. Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Monday night FCS championship.
Okay, and, my bad.
And so it goes into overtime. In overtime, Illinois State scores first, but their extra point was blocked by Montana State. So when Montana State scored again, they won by an extra point because they made the extra point at the end. So just an incredible end to to that game. A lot of fun to watch the celebration after that. So cool. So congratulations to Montana State. Sorry to Illinois State, an unranked team that went all the way to the championship game and lost in overtime. That's got to be heartbreaking for them. But
Yeah.
what a cool ending to that game. If you weren't a fan of Illinois State, then it was a good ending. All right, so that's it for college scores, except over in Japan, where I think they had one. Well, it wasn't a college game; it was X League game. But we'll let our friend Greg St. James tell you about that.
Yep, that's right, guys. It's time to send it over to our man in Japan, Greg St. James, as he tells us all about the happenings over there in Japan with he called it a wrap-up, season wrap-up. So we'll let him take it away. It's a bit of a long one, so buckle in, enjoy, and we will see you guys on the other side.
And now we're off across the Pacific, where our man in Japan, Greg St. James, has all the news from the land of the rising sun.
Hey everyone, it is Greg and Mike here at Gridiron Japan with the end of the year roundup of scores. We had in the last couple weeks here, we've had 3 championships here in Japan. And we're going to start off right away with the Christmas Bowl. We're going to start with the lowest level first, the Christmas Bowl, and that was held Christmas Day, obviously. Actually, no, I don't know. I would have to actually go back and take a look because Christmas here, Christmas here is not a national holiday. So, but it's still the Christmas Bowl nonetheless. But we had the Ritsumeikan UG High School Panthers defeating the Kosai Gakuen High School Lotus 35-0. So that was the Christmas Bowl score, which I usually watch it, but this year I did not watch it. But yeah, there was a 35-0 smackdown by Ritsumeikan. And Ritsumeikan, the high school, they're also they're just right next to where the Ritsumeikan University Panthers play. So, and that's in the Kansai area of Japan, and it's basically it's kind of like our Alabama. It's the area where Alabama, Florida, down where Mike lives at, down in the South where football is a religion. The Kansai area is kind of the big the football powerhouse here in Japan. So, all right, without me rambling too much further, I'm going to hand it off to Mike here to let him give everybody the other scores happening here in Japan, including the big one here in Japan, Japan Super Bowl the other day.
Yeah, thanks, Greg. So to lead us off in the X1 area, we had the Deers defeating the Caterpillars by a score of 21-16. And then in the Rice Bowl, the Impulse defeated the Seagulls by a score of 9-7. So 2 great games.
Yeah, and the Rice Bowl. Listen, I thought Panasonic was just going to steamroll Obic because Obic had a rookie quarterback. Kind of to me a one-dimensional game. I mean, but I knew Panasonic had a tough defense, but I was just unsure about Obic going in because up until the last 2 games of the season, they steamrolled everybody. I mean, their competition, they didn't play that tough a competition. So to me, I'm personally thinking, I go, okay, Panasonic should be able to roll over these guys. And boy, I tell you what, that game started, it was a slugfest up until literally the very end. It was a slugfest up until the very end, but also one in which we both know, and it was a good example of special teams matter. And in this game, special teams were the key. Kind of the lack thereof special teams. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And I think Panasonic they were fortunate with how they were fundamental in other parts of the game. Having missed those 2 field goals throughout the game, they left 6 points off the board. And then Obic, they had their blenders and special teams as well. So definitely in those type of games, you have to play fundamentally sound football on offense, defense, and as you mentioned on special teams. And it seems like throughout the entire game, Panasonic was able to do just a little bit more. Also, as I mentioned to you off the air, it just felt like Obic was playing not to lose instead of playing to win the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I mean, in that last drive when we're down, it's a 9-7 game. And the only reason it was a 9-7 game at that point was because Obic missed a field goal, which was it looked like a chip shot. It should not have been missed. And their kicker, who used to play in the CFL, I think kind of had the same issues, wasn't able to hit those easy ones. But he missed that field goal. So, but for that, we'd be talking about Obic being Rice Bowl champions. But in the end, Panasonic came through. Their defense came through. When Obic was driving down the field to try to get within field goal range, at least, Panasonic's defense came up big, and completely shut him down with that pick.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to the Impulse defense for stepping up when they needed it most. So it'll be definitely leads with great storylines going into the off season. And I know we're starting the X League a little bit earlier this year, so it's definitely exciting to wait less time before we kick off another great season of X League.
Yeah, it'll be an extended, comparative. It's the X League is going to be called, from what I understand, our own John Gunning wrote a very good piece in the Japan Times covering not only the Rice Bowl, but the future of the X League moving forward in 2026. But we're looking at what is now, I believe, going to be called the X Premier. The season's going to begin in May. And actually, usually in May, the X League usually starts playing exhibition games because, again, this is a semi-pro league. And so they'd start playing their exhibition games in May, the tune-up games and everything. So apparently all these games that normally were played in May as exhibitions are now going to count towards the the regular season. So basically the X League, now it's X Premier, is going to be a spring and fall league, just an extended season. And how that all plays out, I don't know, and we'll see what the X League puts out in the next week, months, in terms of what the schedule is, and there's just so many unknowns right now. But hopefully, they're doing this for a reason, to try to improve the standing of football here in Japan, because Mike, you and I have talked about this before with international football. You've played on the international, you've played international gridiron football over there in Spain. There's always this rivalry between Europe and Japan in terms of which teams are best in that. But listen, and you may or may not agree with me, but I'm here to tell you, until anybody says otherwise, the Panasonic Impulse, the Fujitsu Frontiers, and the Obic Seagulls, they are the class of international football. And until we have an Intercontinental Gridiron Cup, and until Europe gets their act together with their leagues over there, we're gonna it's gonna be a nice bone of contention in social media. And if anybody here is listening who is a big ELF fan, a European football fan, they think different, hey, let us know. You can go to gridironjapan.jp, and we've got a link down there at the very bottom to links right to us. Send us a message, or you can just type in gridironjapan@gmail.com and let us know what you think. And and if anybody out there from the ELF is listening and wants to, maybe debate that on our show, feel free to give us, reach out to us, and we'll have a good talk, and hopefully learn more about what's going on with football in Europe right now. So, Mike, before I let you go, any final thoughts?
No, I just think it was a great way to kick off 2026, and I'm beyond excited to see what the rest of the NFL brings us and everything else going into the new year.
All right. Well, on behalf of Mike, myself, the rest of the crew, John, Aaron, and all the other guys who've been co-hosts ever since we've been doing this podcast. As always, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching us. We do appreciate it. In 2026, hopefully you're going to be hearing a lot more from us as we not only keep covering the Japanese game, but we also bring in other topics. Talking CFL, talking UFL, talking football history. That's what we're looking forward to in 2026. And so with all that said, listen, we love talking about football here at the World of Football, which we are proud to be partners with. So on behalf of myself, Mike, and the rest of the crew, Randy and Adam, thank you very much for this opportunity this past year to have us sit down and give you guys the scores from over here in Japan. And stay tuned. We still have football left here to be played here in Japan because X2 and X3 have not wrapped up their season. So you're going to be hearing more from us in the next week or two to report those scores. So with all that said, guys, thank you very much for listening, and we'll be talking to you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.
All right, I think you can hear us. Can you hear me?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, I did a weird thing trying to click us back in, so it's all good. Thanks to Greg. That was awesome. A lot of information there, by the way.
Yeah. And now, when he talked about them getting into talking about football history, I don't know if you saw it.
Were you thinking the same thing I was, that we should go slash his tires because that's our shtick?
No.
Your shtick?
No.
Okay.
But
never mind. That's not what I was thinking.
On his Gridiron Japan social media, he posted a video of the Atom Bowl that was played in Japan in 1947, the year they dropped the atomic bomb. It was like New Year's Day, after they dropped the atomic bombs in August. They played something called the Atom Bowl, and there was a video, and he also had some newspaper articles about it that he posted. And that's, you and I did a history lesson about that some time ago. Not a video, but it was just something on one of our episodes. Yep. But that is a fascinating story, and so if nothing else, go to Gridiron Japan and check out that link to the video that talks about who some of the players. So I think there was a Heisman Trophy winner in that game, and some other players that were well known in college football at the time. So very, very interesting story on the Atom Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
Greg did also ask us at some point if we'd be interested in being on one of his shows. We'll have to work it out. I know my schedule's a little more hectic than yours, so if anything, you'll get Randy, Greg. So.
Well, he probably just wants to get a little revenge, so he wants us to get up early in the morning, like he's had to get up early in the morning to make sure that we get a video on time.
I mean, maybe you get me on the right day, maybe.
Yeah, no. And, if it works out, it works out. I'd love to do it.
All right, I know you said you updated the script with a couple stories, so I'm prepared. I also threw one in the chat, Randy, or in the green room in case you miss it, but I'll let you take the script from here. I got graphics ready to go for wherever you're going with the script.
Okay. Well, the first thing
I have
almost
here is an hour, by the way.
Yeah, I know. The first one is under the AF1 heading.
Okay.
Today through this Friday, the 15th annual National Scouting Combine is going on in Naples, Florida, and Gary Compton, Jeff Fisher, and Jerry Kurz from the AF1 are going to be there evaluating players. And I think they're giving that information to all the owners of the AF1 teams so that they can, maybe pick a few more players that they saw down there at the combine. I don't know if there are any AF1 owners down there. There might be, but I know those three executives from the league are there participating in this and watching and evaluating some of these players, and they're passing on that information to the teams in the AF1. And there are other indoor leagues that are there too. So this is a showcase where a lot of the indoor and arena football leagues can check out players, and these are all players from the FBS level, FCS, Division II, Division III, and NAIA programs. So it's something pretty cool. pretty cool. I
This is a
wouldn't mind going down there sometimes. Looks like great weather down there compared to
right. Yeah, I mean,
the snow I had to
you-
shovel earlier today.
You've met a handful of the guys in that picture there, Randy. So you should know some of those head coaches and Gary Compton there in the middle.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that's them down there right now. So I know we'll probably be talking with Coach Sean Liotta on one of our future shows for Inside the Arsenal. We also I don't want to spoil it. There might be some Michigan Arsenal news in the next couple of days. We're still working out that information.
Mhm.
So be on the lookout for that. We might have a show coming up soonish. The Arsenal getting prepared to announce some stuff, which I think is
Okay.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm very excited about that. I've been emailing with Celeste over the
Okay.
weekend. A lot of cool stuff happening, Randy. So
Okay. Yeah. Getting more excited every day with the season gets closer. I'm getting more excited.
now I
Let's
know
see.
you don't have this one, so I'm going to throw this one at you.
All right.
IFL real quick. The Orlando Pirates are selling that blue turf that they've used up in Massachusetts from 2018 to 2025. Get a hold of the Orlando Pirates if you guys are interested in purchasing your own field.
If you got a really big backyard, it would be perfect for you.
Or if you're a different team in a different league that just wants a blue turf, well, there you go. You just got to spray paint over the end zones or paint over them, whatever some of these other teams do.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, maybe you're a Boise State fan and you want to put that in your backyard and just redo the end zones.
Indoor Boise team with a blue turf. Just saying.
Hey, ironically, Boise State is coming to Kalamazoo this coming season for a game early in the year.
Oh, crap. We better get our tickets for that one.
Definitely want to go to that game. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. I've got a story here from the Arena League. This Thursday, the name and logo for the Grand Island, Nebraska team is going to be revealed. And this was put out by our friend Trey from Off the Wall. So I want to give him credit for this. He's got his fingers in everything IFL. And he posted that. And I thought,
well, this is the Arena League. This ain't IFL, but he keeps his nose to the grindstone. He was able to retweet this from Foozer Sports, who posted this teaser for whatever this Grand Island team is going to be. Clearly a military-esque theme based on this font. We'll see how that goes. But interesting. I'm clearly that means they probably didn't pick the name I submitted, but that's fine. That's why I haven't heard from them yet. So
what name did you suggest?
I said the Nebraska because they were the Nebraska Danger, so I called them
right.
The Nebraska Nightmare. That's what it was. The Nebraska Nightmare. I mean, I guess you still could call them Nightmare with a military theme, but fingers crossed. I just haven't got my check in the mail yet, so I'm getting a little worried.
Or Night Rangers. Who knows?
Danger Rangers?
Oh, maybe. All right. We do have some news from the UFL. The UFL draft is coming up soon in Arlington, Texas. Let's see. They've got this spread out over several days. January 9th is going to be the quarterback draft, where teams can pick a maximum of 3 quarterbacks, and they're not going to announce who they picked until January 12th. And then the next day on January 10th, they've got a regional player draft where they can pick a maximum of 3 players from allocated schools to the league. And this is something similar to what the USFL did back in the 80s. They had a list of several teams, colleges around their particular teams, and they got first choice for those schools. So if you're a Michigan team, I think it was Michigan State. I can't remember if Notre Dame was in there, but regional players, because they wanted each team to have a regional flavor, and so that's very similar. And again, they're not going to announce those picks until January 12th. And then on January 13th, it's the regular player draft, and it's going to consist of 2025 UFL players who finished the season on either active or injured reserve rosters. So they're going back to guys who went last year, and they're going to draft them into the new teams. And then on January 14th, it's the free agent draft. Players not under contract to any other league are the ones that they're going to be looking at in that day's draft. The draft order has yet to be determined and is going to be decided by a random lottery. The maximum number of picks that a team can make through all of these dates is either 60 or 62 players. So that'll be the max that they can pick. Additional
A
free
lot.
agents, huh? Yeah, it
That's
is.
a lot. Like they posted, I saw all these graphics. I was saving all of them, and it's a lot to take in.
Yeah, yeah. Additional free agents can be signed after the draft. The training camp rosters are going to be at 64 players, and their season begins March 27th in the UFL. So,
Dang.
a lot going on with the UFL.
Yeah, no kidding. Gonna be interesting. I know, like we've talked about before, don't have really a vested interest in any of these teams this year. I'm curious how this league will work, so I'll be cautiously pessimistic. So we'll just have to wait and see.
We don't have a Michigan Panthers teams anymore, so I don't know who I'm going to be rooting for this year. I've kind of lost interest really in the UFL because of some of the changes they're making. They might be great, they may fall on their face. I don't know, but I'm just not as enthusiastic without a Michigan Panthers team because we went to see them, when they were in the USFL before they merged with the UFL and the XFL and all that. So we've been going to Detroit for a couple of years now to watch the Michigan Panthers, and it's just kind of heartbreaking that they didn't bring them back. But I kind of get it. They were in a big stadium that was costing a lot of money.
Yeah, and Viking Wax Press, who's got his finger on the UFL pulse, go check out Royce's YouTube channel, guys. Great stuff over there. The best part of the UFL draft is that teams can reserve 12 guys from last season's team. And I think he posted something about kind of what teams are now, like the Panthers obviously became the Aviators, and there's a couple other transitions. So go check him out, guys. He's got the UFL stuff pretty much on lock. We're kind of deferring to Royce a lot with the UFL. So
Yep.
And he says he's leaning towards the Battlehawks since he lost his showboats.
Oh.
So
yeah. Well, we went to St. Louis. We saw a Battlehawks game there. So I mean, that was my team for a while when they were at the XFL.
Yeah, AFL Slasher, our buddy Scott there. 60 rounds sounds painful. Yeah. Sounds excruciating.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of details still to come out on that.
Yeah. And he also says caw is law, which I still don't understand from the Battlehawks, but hey, I'm not gonna yuck nobody's yum. It's all good.
Yep. All right. I did catch a couple more episodes of Eli's Places from season 3.
Please give us the Randy's notes about these episodes. I can't wait.
Yeah, episode 4 was called Campus Creations, and they went to the University of Florida, and they talked about the history of Gatorade that was produced there. They talked to the daughter of the professor there that came up with the formula and all that, and then they went to Notre Dame. And you know how they've got that sign that says "Play like a champion" today. That when they're going down the stairs to get on the field at the Notre Dame Stadium, everybody bangs on the sign. Well, he was there, and then he went to Oklahoma, and supposedly they have had a sign similar to that even before Notre Dame did. I mean, it's famous at Notre Dame, but they're claiming that they had it back in the 50s, whereas the one at Notre Dame didn't show up until 1986. So. And they talked to Barry Switzer and Billy Sims during that episode, and so that was pretty interesting. And then I watched episode 5, and this was called Texas Traditions, about the Hook'em Horns. They talked to quarterback Colt McCoy, who played there for 4 years as a starter when he was in college. They did not talk to Arch Manning. They mentioned that Arch wasn't available to be on there. He was busy practicing for the upcoming season. So this was recorded last summer. But they talked about Bevo, the mascot, and Big Bertha, the bass drum. And so that was kind of a fun episode, too. And I think the next one, they go to Texas A&M. Yeah, so the next one's at Texas A&M, and they're talking about their traditions. So I got 5 more episodes to go through. I'll hit a couple more next week. But Eli's Places is pretty good. I think that his first one or second one wasn't that good, but they're still pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, he's sitting in stride now.
Now we do have breaking news, Randy. I don't know if you've been looking at your phone at all.
No, I haven't.
The Detroit Lions have fired offensive coordinator John Morton after 1 season.
Really? Yeah,
there we go.
I kind of knew it was coming.
I wasn't sure what they would do, to be honest with you, but clearly when Stan took over play calling, that might have been the writing on the wall. But Yep, that's the breaking news that literally just came through while you were talking about Eli's places for some reason. We could have spent 3 minutes on this, but instead we spent it on that. Now
Well,
it's time to move
maybe
on to a different thing.
maybe they looked at some of those coordinators that have been fired and some of the head coaches that were fired, and they said, you know what? We'll take that guy now that he's
Cliff
available.
Kingsbury. Bring Cliff Kingsbury to Detroit. That's what I want now. Bring him.
All right. Well, we've been droning on for over an hour, so let's kind of wrap things up
Hey,
here.
look who it is in the chat. Our very own Aaron Snow. Morton had to go. Yep. Aaron, I'm glad to know that he watches this show when he's not on here. Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. Today's birthdays and anniversaries for January 6th. The first birthday is that of Howie Long, who turns
Look at that
66 years old today. Yeah. He played college football at Villanova. I did not know that. If I knew it, I had forgotten it. He played at Villanova, was selected in the second round of the 1981 NFL draft by the Oakland Raiders, played 13 seasons, all with the Oakland/LA Raiders. I think just the first season there, 81, they were Oakland. Then they moved to LA in 82, and the rest of his career was there. But he won Super Bowl 18 with the Raiders. Inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in the class of 2000. Of course, if you're on TV, yeah, you get inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Now he's with Fox Sports, and he's made several movies, but the one that stands out to me is the one called Broken Arrow with John Travolta. Have you ever seen that one?
I have not. I remember all the trailers. I've seen clips of it.
Yeah, John Travolta is a terrorist guy who's hijacks a nuclear bomb, and
Wow.
Howie Long is one of his henchmen working with him. So that was a good movie. I enjoyed that. Another birthday today is
Hold
that
on, before
of,
we do another birthday, Randy, unfortunately, we have more breaking news. Another head coaching shakeup. As
really?
according to Ian Rappaport, the Ravens and longtime decorated head coach John Harbaugh are parting ways after days of discussion, per the insiders. Major decision in Baltimore. Yep, that just came through the wire.
That is surprising. That is surprising.
There you go. Add a seventh head coaching shakeup to the list of vacancies.
Wow.
This one I didn't see coming. I think just because the Ravens had a down year, or you want to call it whatever. That's a tough one to get behind.
Yeah, I don't know. I could. There was a lot of talk about them maybe getting rid of their quarterback, but the head coach, yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that.
Viking Wax Press, John Harbaugh as Lions offensive coordinator. Isn't he more of a defensive guy anyway?
I don't know. All right. Other birthdays today. Coach Lou Holtz turns 89 years old. He was a college football head coach for 33 seasons. From 1969 to 2004, he started out at William and Mary, went to North Carolina State, Arkansas. He's best known for a longtime coach at Notre Dame, and he finished his coaching career with South Carolina. And let's see, Ndamukong Suh, defensive tackle for the Lions, turns 39 today. Went to college at Nebraska, was the second overall pick in the 2010 NFL draft by our Detroit Lions, played 13 seasons. He was with Detroit from 2010 to 2014. The Dolphins from 2015 and 2016. He was with the Rams for one season in 2018, with the Bucks from 2019 to 2021, and finished his career with the Eagles in 2022, and he won Super Bowl 55 with the Bucks.
Now you have a great Ndamukong Suh story. Do you even get your mini helmet there to show and tell the story?
It's out in the other room, but I can tell that story if you want me to.
Yeah, I would love to hear it again.
We went to Lions training camp back
Without
when we
me, by the way. I wasn't there. Yep.
You weren't there, but your youngest brother Abram was with me. I can't remember how old he was, but he wasn't very old. But we're up in the stands, and of course, after practice, the players kind of pass by the fans on their way to the locker room after practice. And I took a Nebraska helmet. I happen to have a Nebraska helmet in my collection. And I told Abram, I said, you go down there to the front line where everybody's going. I said, and you hold that helmet up in the air, and he'll see that, because everybody had Lions helmets that they wanted him to sign. I said, you hold that up. He'll see that Nebraska helmet, and he will come over and sign that. And he sure did. He went right over to Abram, and he signed it, and I've got it on the shelf out there. So don't have a Ndamukong Suh Lions helmet, but I've got a Nebraska helmet autographed by him, thanks to my son Abram.
And now the sad part of this story, which is the fact that he's got this gorgeous signed Nebraska mini helmet with Ndamukong Suh's name on it, and chose to let this particular shelf of mini helmets sit where the sun beats down on it. So it is a nasty yellow Nebraska helmet now, with half of it being clean white and the other half all nasty yellow, beaten to death by the sun. That's why I was hoping you could show it. I'm so upset that you let this happen to this helmet.
Well, maybe next week I'll bring it in here and you can show that. But yeah,
maybe how tomorrow night on the picks. Have it ready for the picks tomorrow night.
Maybe, yeah, okay.
For our friends that do the playoff picks with us.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got 2 obituaries this week, and this is where we take a moment to honor those who made the world of football a better place. And the first one is that of Billy Ray Barnes, a halfback in the NFL for 9 seasons, has passed away at the age of 90. Barnes played college football at Wake Forest and was selected in the second round of the 1957 NFL draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. He played for the Eagles from 1957 to 1961 and won an NFL title with the Eagles in 1960. He also played for the Washington Redskins from 1962 and 1963, and he finished his career with the Minnesota Vikings from 1965 to 1966.
All right, and sorry I was distracted by other news stuff, but it's okay. The next obituary, as I scroll through my notes here, is that of, and of course it's tiny font, of Jim Flanagan, a linebacker in the NFL for 5 seasons, has passed away at the age of 80. Flanagan played college football at Pittsburgh and was selected in the second round of the 1967 NFL draft by the Green Bay Packers. He played for the Packers from 1967 to 1970 and won Super Bowl II as a member of the Packers. He finished his brief playing career with the New Orleans Saints in 1971.
Yeah, his son also played. That's Jim Flanagan Sr. there, and his son, Jim Flanagan Jr., also played in the NFL for a number of years. So, all right. Last thing for today, the upcoming events calendar. January 12th through the 16th, the college transfer portal is now open. And like I said, over 3,000, I think 3,800 plus guys have already signed up for the transfer portal. We got the UFL draft coming up. The main part is going to be on the 13th and the 14th, but they've got stuff going on the 9th and the 10th and making an announcement on the 12th. So yeah, anywhere from the 9th to the 14th, you'll be getting news from the UFL. Monday, January 19th, the College Football National Championship game in Miami on ESPN. Hopefully Indiana will be there. And Sunday, February 8th, it's the Super Bowl 60 in Santa Clara, California. And then on February 10th is going to be our last show for a little while we take a break and do some other things, some special projects, and just take a little break from football for a while before we gear up for the indoor and arena seasons.
Yeah, my wife thought that started this week. She's like, so since the Lions season's done, you're done, right? And I was like,
no, not quite.
And even then, when I said we were taking a break, I said, oh, it's a break from the regular podcast. And she just looked at me. But I will tell you, Randy, I didn't get to tell you off mic, but I'll tell you on mic that we got a date for the baby shower that does conflict with going to one of those 2 opening road games for the Arsenal.
Oh,
so
okay.
I will have to attend those. I told my wife that I football can wait, and I will be there.
Oh, I thought you said no. You can attend one of the games because football comes first.
Shush. If announcer lady hears you saying that, Randy, I might be in big trouble.
Okay. Anything else? Any other breaking news before we end this show?
No, that should be it right now, unless something else breaks after the show. But I don't know. Sorry, Tim Capper's messaging me about the breaking news stuff. So hi, Tim, if you're watching also. But yeah, it's just crazy. This is that time of the year now where everything is surprising like this. What's the next big thing that's going to happen? Now, John Harbaugh is probably your front runner coach for a team. So we'll have to wait and see where he lands. I don't know what a good spot is. I saw in the chat at one point that Scott said it sounds like a Raiders type coach. So we'll see where he goes. C-Dog, I don't get why the Ravens got rid of Harbaugh. Viking Express, I agree, C-Dog, he's a solid coach. I bet they drop off next year. I think after seeing what happened, because they lost that defensive coordinator who's now the Seahawks head coach, and how they flipped that defense around. I wonder if they think that there's somebody else that could just, I don't know, get things turned around, and maybe John Harbaugh, between him and Mike Tomlin, I was wondering if both those teams, if you lose, that coach is gone, because Tomlin's been there for so long, Harbaugh's been there for so long. These two, probably the best rivalry in the NFL. I'm just shocked, to be honest with you. But at some point, these coaches with longevity, how long do you give them? How long of a leash do they get before you're like, it's not getting much better? We love what you did with us. We've been a consistent team, but that's kind of like when we had Caldwell. We had a ceiling, and we couldn't get above that ceiling. When you realize that you can't get above that ceiling with who you got, you have to make that change. Yeah. Now, the Lions made the wrong change at that point, but then they got the right change after that. And Dan Campbell, I think the ceiling for like a Dan Campbell is so high that's why he'll stay around for a few years, I think, unless everything just bottoms out. But John Harbaugh will be a get for a team. We'll just have to wait and see who that is.
Yeah, I really thought the Ravens would move on from Lamar Jackson, but
I don't see
to get rid of their coach is I did not see that coming at all. Not at all.
Yeah, bit of a shock. But what a way to end the episode this week, though.
Yeah, well, all day yesterday, I sat on the couch with my laptop on my lap, and every few minutes, oh my God, another coach got fired. Oh, another coach got fired. Oh, there's this record, and so it was just a constant day of updating. This record was broken, or this happened, and it was wild day yesterday. So anyway, that's all the time we've got for this week. Don't forget to check out the World of Football merchandise at teepublic.com. That's teepublic.com for the latest in football-related T-shirts, hats, mugs, and more from our merch store. And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than the two of us guys sitting here in cold, snowy Kalamazoo, Michigan, talking about all things football. Join us again next week when we'll try and do a better job. Yeah, right. Until then, I'm Randy Snow.
And I'm Adam Snow. Check out our weekly picks video tomorrow night. The slate is clean, so if you haven't jumped into playlist, guys, get on the ground floor. We're doing the playoffs. We're starting fresh. Recap how everybody did for the regular season. Surprise, we have a new champion at the top of the board this year, or champions maybe. There could be a tie. We'll talk about it tomorrow night. And if you guys are interested, I'm thinking about putting up a T-shirt of that 20th season logo we have for the World of Football. If anybody's interested, I'll probably be putting that up in our store in the next few days. I got to fight with Randy about a lot of our graphics issues. As some of you might also notice, this week in the World of Football, got a little slight logo tweak or font tweak, and Randy threw a fit all weekend about it.
I hate change.
So this is what I have to put up with on the creative side. It's hard to be a creative when you have a stickler like Randy on the other side who can snuff out your ideas or stifle your creativity.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you all next week. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe, if Randy doesn't stifle more creativity.
Thanks again for checking out this edition of This Week in the World of Football. New episodes of the show are posted every Tuesday and can be found wherever good podcasts are available. You can find the World of Football on Facebook, X, Instagram, and Threads by searching for TWOF Kalamazoo or using the links in the episode description below. Be sure to subscribe to the World of Football on YouTube for more great football-related content. Just search for the World of Football Kalamazoo or use the handle @TheWorldOfFootball to find us. Remember, every like, comment, and subscription really does help us out, and we appreciate you for that support. We hope to see you again next time.